All right. Guys, we're live right now. It's 8. Forgive me, we have a little bit of a technical challenges that we are working through. Phoebe, if you could do me a favor, there's a little mute button at the top. Just kind of toggle on back and forth on that, and that way your camera is not going to be taking over while I'm talking, and I'm going to be almost here in a second.
So what do you want me to do?
Just mute out your mute out for a minute. Okay, you muted? Yes, you are. Okay, good. Guys, welcome, Secret Australia. I know there's many of you that are on right now. I see that the website. I'm on two computers here, but I can see the other computer is lighting up. Lots of people that are connected from all over Australia and I guess other parts of the world right now. We have something unique, something special for you today. I'm excited about it. We're going to actually be doing this as well next week, but we have a true master with us that's decided to take some of his time, wake up also at 2:30 a.m. and actually I think he stayed up this entire time. He's been preparing for this, but many of you know him. If you don't know him, you're about to meet him, but he is an amazing person. And I know that there's some of you that are logged on here today because you had a friend or a family member, colleague, somebody say, listen, I'm excited about this incredible company called Secret. You've got to log on and take a listen to what these people have to say about the company, because there's an unprecedented opportunity for you. And that's true. We're going to talk about that. We're going to do it a little differently than we've done it in the past. We're not going to go through a boring slideshow and give you some just some information on the opportunity. Instead, we're going to just shoot from the hip and just talk real. Just two people that have gotten involved in Secret, have had some success, and we're going to kind of share what that looks like. And the individual I'm going to bring on is not only an incredible friend of mine, someone I admire, someone I respect as a person, but I also respect him as an entrepreneur. He's a business owner. He's done incredibly well in the business sector. He's run some incredibly successful skincare clinics in the United States and Los Angeles, Walnut, that whole area. He's an incredible person. Not only that, but he's also an individual that has been called on to speak on advisory boards. I know he advised a billionaire recently about certain medical equipment as it pertains to skin. He's also very well respected within the medical community, and he's someone who got started with Secret at the very beginning with me. He believed in the products, believed in the vision when many people didn't. And a lot of his ideas and his concepts and the information he brought to the CEO, Mr. Isaac Ben-Shabbat, and myself and the rest of the Secret community were implemented and have helped make Secret the great company it is today. And this individual, part-time, was able to earn a six-figure and go diamond in the company. And I know right now he's running very hard. He's helping a lot of people. It's really an honor to be working with him. So, Dr. FieBi Liu, if you'd unmute right now and just say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone. Hello, Australia. I'm so glad to be on the call with you guys.
Here's what we're going to do. I feel you just got started. I'm going to mute myself out, too. And I'm just going to be interviewing you and asking you some questions. But can you kind of tell everybody a little bit about your background and how you got started?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, I've been in the skincare industry the last 10 years. My background is I'm a physician assistant. In the U.S., a physician assistant is higher than a nurse, where we're called mid-level practitioners. I have a PhD in alternative medicine. And basically, I got a phone call from my buddy right there, Joshua Denne. 3 years ago, he called me up. He said, "Hey, FieBi, you want to make $100,000 a month?" And in the beginning, I kind of ignored him, but thank God I listened to him later on. Met him at Starbucks, and he showed me the products, and the rest was history.
And so, let me ask you something. I think it's something that a lot of people are asking. As a professional, someone who's already done well and you've made millions of dollars in your life, you've built a very successful business. What was attractive to you about network marketing and specifically Secret?
Well, as you know, Josh, I mean, I have respect for medical professionals and people who have businesses. But one thing that, as owning a business, I mean, my liabilities are huge. I'm responsible for employees. You have bills and they can rent, leases, medical malpractice you got to deal with, and it kind of adds up, and they're fixed costs. They're not variable. I mean, whether I make money or not, those bills are going to come in. So every month you really, really have to hustle, and when the economy goes down, your income goes down. I mean, it did cause a lot of stress, over the years. But I've survived that over time. But it's not just the fixed costs and the bills and working. It's also working the hours, 6 days a week. There was a time where I was working even 7 days because my brother and my mom both had kidney failure and they were on dialysis, and I was living in an RV, so it was really tough for me. And as far as network marketing, well, I wasn't, the only experience I had was with another company. I didn't have too much success, but I wanted the dream of having a residual income. The idea that I can put a certain amount of time and certain amount of effort, and then money will continue to come in, like that will continue to pay me over and over for my efforts from before. To me, that was just like almost like the golden egg. It was like almost too good to be true. And if such thing could be true, I could make the same amount of money that I'm making in my traditional business through a network marketing process. I was definitely willing to try, and I did with Secret 3 years ago. And so I'm happy to say I'm out of my traditional job, doing full time with Secret for the last 2 months. And I'm actually making more with Secret than I am in my traditional practice.
I mean, that's a phenomenal story.
That,
Let me
and
ask you
that
this.
took me 10 years.
That's
I'm,
what?
I'm sorry, I said that took me 10 years to do in my traditional business, and with Secret was less than 3 years.
That's a phenomenal story, Dr. Liu. Let me ask you this, brother. How did you get to this point? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of story behind the scenes there. I think a lot of people they're asking themselves, all right, this is great, but really, what did you do uh, part time? How did you carve the time? What was the sacrifice like? And well, I guess what I'm really trying to say is, for the other professionals that may be out there listening to this, how did you do what you did, given the fact that yes, you have liability, you have responsibility, you have other people looking to you, and you don't have much time. How did you do it?
Well, I think the first thing is to decide to do it, that you believe that it's worth the effort and that you're going to go for it. I mean, you just have to mentally decide. If I only got only 40 hours, whether you're working 40 hours, 50 hours a week, 30, doesn't matter. Once you decide you're going to, with time that you have, with the constraints that you have. I just remember I was making calls during my lunch break. You have an hour there. You make phone calls. Even after work, I would schedule appointments for an hour or two to go meet up with people to show them the business. There were times there where I had to drive really, really far away, and it was already 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and I would go maybe an hour and then come back, and I wouldn't see a lot of results. And I think that's the tough part, Josh, because traditional business owners, they're used to, with their efforts, when they put in effort, they want to see a result immediately. And with us, with this type of business, sometimes you may not see the result, and then you kind of get discouraged. But I took it by faith because I've seen, my mentors have always taught me, you've shown me that if we're persistent enough, we're going to be able to develop the organization or find the right people. And so I basically just did what I could. You tend to become more efficient when you have less time sometimes.
So how much time did you allocate to the business in the very beginning? Like, well, how did you do it? I mean, so I understand the concept and the process you just went through, but you decided you have X amount of time. What did you do in that time? And how much was that for you?
I would say it would be an extra 8 to 12 hours a week. Sometimes definitely an hour in between breaks. And so, as a business owner, there's also you have to realize there's also dead time too. Means that yeah, I'm doing my work. You know, I'm doing the injections, I'm doing the Botox, I'm seeing clients, but sometimes I'll have an hour in the afternoon where there's just nothing booked, and I'll use that time to make phone calls or to schedule appointments. And occasionally I'll have Saturdays open, and I'll make really good use of what I call my half days or my full days. I'll make sure my half days are definitely helping new people who join the business to start their business. And even with Dr. Christopher Ho is somebody I brought into the business. He has a 6-day schedule, and sometimes he would make appointments, and I would actually do the appointment for him on his lunch break, and we would meet at a coffee that was nearby somewhere close by, and I would do appointments for him. So we kind of just worked around our schedule any way possible that we could. And I know his schedule is even worse than mine, you know, Dr. Ho. So we just made it happen.
Excellent, excellent. And I have I don't know why we're having feedback. I apologize. Jason, can you tell me why we're getting that kind of feedback? Anyway, one other question I would ask you, Dr. Liu, and I know I find that strange even using your medical professional name, but it's, you know, FieBi. And you're such a kind person to everybody. I know that you help everybody, no matter who they are, anywhere in secret. And I think that's part of the community that we're creating here. We have such a cooperative atmosphere, no matter who you are or what your background is. One of the great things about the secret community is that people work together to help each other. Maybe you can share a little bit about that, FieBi. I know that that's something unique, I think, to this profession of networking, and especially the secret, for sure, unique. Maybe you can explain a little bit about that and why that's important in business, how people can benefit from this.
Well, for those of you guys that are in this webinar, I'm gonna share with you like a personal story. I did join Secret. It was really exciting in the very beginning, and in the very beginning, not everything was in place. And so, like anything, I worked the business for 6 months. I kind of thought, well, maybe this wasn't for me. So I actually left the business because I didn't see a lot of the top leaders making a lot of money. And in fact, I remember there was a time when Joshua Denne became homeless, and Isaac Benshabat actually drove to Joshua and took him to Arizona, and they lived there. And so at that time, I was still struggling with my family being on dialysis a lot. I left Secret. And I remember this, when I left Secret, Isaac would call me and he said, FieBi, we love you. We're a family, and we pray that we hope that we will build a company that you would want to, that's good enough, or that's good that you would want to come back to. And at first I thought it was like, yeah, they always say that, people tell you they love you and they're family, and Josh kind of did the same thing. Joshua, as a friend, he said, hey, I know you got to do what you got to do, but I love you, brother, and you got to, when you ever want to come back, we're here for you. So literally a year passes by, and Josh calls me up and goes, FieBi, you got to come to the Long Beach convention, see what's going on, see all the new things happening. And I made over $1 million. I was like, what? I love you. I don't want you to miss out on the good thing that's happened. So I went to the convention. I did see all the success, and I saw Josh and I saw all the leaders doing financially really well. And so, and then later on in the backstage when I met Isaac Benshabat, I went to Isaac and I said, I feel really bad that I left the company. Not only on the financial side, I felt like I left my friends who really cared about me. And And then Isaac just gave me a big hug, and he just said, "FieBi, you never left." And those words, kind of hit me till now, So I really feel that it is about community, and that's one of the reasons I really want to give back to the Secret family, uh, where we help other team members that's not directly on my team. I feel that this community that we're building is what separates Secret from all the other companies, because it's an unstoppable force when we're together, and that's what makes us really, really special.
Now, FieBi, and I appreciate that. I think for a lot of people that are looking at this for the first time, they may be thinking, okay, that's great. I like the idea of a community where it's cooperative marketing. People are helping each other because, for a lot of people, this is a new endeavor. Getting involved in a business like this, even if they're an entrepreneur, even if they've already built other companies, this is unique. It's a different methodology. There's different systems that make this business work and drive this business. And so I think the community is important. What I want to get to just over the next few minutes is for you to actually do this part-time the way you did, and I know you, and I appreciate what you said, you kind of went away, you went into some other business ventures because you didn't see the vision of where it was at that time, and now that you do see it fully, you're 100% engaged. Now, when that time came, when you're like, okay, I'm going to engage, and I know, like you mentioned, a lot of the audience members here that your brother was on dialysis at the time, your mom was going through some issues, and you had a clinic to run, where a very busy clinic. And for those of you that don't know, I mean, FieBi's schedule is packed. I mean, he's got a waiting list of people who want to see him, and his schedule is like crazy every single day. And so, with that kind of schedule, with all the overhead and all the stuff, what did you actually do every day when you had the time for Secret? Like, what was it, FieBi, that you did that maybe another business owner like yourself could do? Or even if you're not in business, maybe you have a job and a career, what can they do in their time? What was it that you did, and what would you recommend that they do? They can have the success that you have.
Okay, that's a great question, and it's interesting that you asked that question, because the same things that I did to be successful is the same thing that I'm doing now. And the first thing you want to do is identify people to talk to. You want to just get a piece of paper or a notebook. I just call it the active people list. They're the people that you're going to talk to, that you're going to intentionally build a relationship with, and that you're going to kind of, in a way, take them through like exposure. Your goal is simply to call them, invite them, send them either a video, or invite them. The way I do it is I go like this. I go like, hey, Larry, when do you have time? I always ask, when do you have time I can meet up with you? I want to show you these incredible, amazing products that I personally experience. I want to share them with you. Now, there is a business behind it. It's something you may or may not be interested, but I want to show you these products. So I personally always lead with products and just set the invitation. And that's literally it. It's literally finding enough people to talk to, developing enough relationships, and then setting that time. So it's between calling people and then actually demonstrating the products through a one-to-one or a wow party. I think in the beginning I was more of a one-to-one person. I invited them and they came one-on-one, and then later evolved to wow parties where I had more people come in. I had a set time every Wednesday night at 7. So that's something that you may want to do if you're a traditional business owner. If your time is very fixed, I fixed my wow party time. So I know in my mind that every Wednesday, 7 o'clock, that was my wow party. So throughout the rest of the week, I would drive everybody towards the 7 o'clock wow party. Whether one person showed up or no one showed up, that was my wow party time. And it was good for me to have a set time. I did that for almost a year because everyone knew 7 o'clock Wednesday night, FieBi has a skincare party, and then people would come. And in between, I would do a lot of one-on-ones. So that's kind of how I did it.
Okay, I'm getting good notes here, guys. So you identify the people to talk to. You have a list. Make a list of everyone that you basically know. and you told me the active people list, and basically call them and invite them to take a look at the system, right?
Yeah.
And then when they're looking at secret, they're going to do a one-on-one, which is probably today is the 5-and-5 presentation, right? That we have videos on the well, right? And then because of the busy schedule, you have one every week that you have people come to you. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And let me ask you this: in the one-on-one, so if you're just sitting down with me right now, there's a lot of people that are actually tuned in right now from all over the world. I'm looking at this. The analytics are pretty crazy. This is amazing. But what would you say? What would you say to me if I'm brand new and I got involved in the secret yet? What are some of the things you're going to say to me that would intrigue me to get started and build my own secret business?
Well, I could just tell you from my personal experience that in the beginning, you almost kind of have to just decide to get started with this business by faith. Just believe that, you know what, this is something that you may have questions like, I don't know if I have confidence to do it, or I don't know if I have ability to do it, but just go by faith that you can do it and that this is a
Well,
great.
you know what? I appreciate that, Doctor. I hate to interrupt, but and I get where you're going with this, but what I'm trying to ask you is, look, man, you just set an appointment with me to sit down, all right? So here we are. You just sat down with me, and without going through the niceties of, hi, how are you, what's going on, how's the weather, kind of thing. What do you say to me? What do you say to me that's going to intrigue me to get involved with secret business? I mean, do you start with showing me the products? Do you start with telling me the vision of the company? Do you show me the compensation plan? Do you show me a video? What do you do to get me excited about a business?
Okay, that's easy. I show them the products. I mean, I talk about the Dead Sea. I talk about the benefits of the Dead Sea and the story. I share a little bit about my testimony, why I love it. But at the end of the day, I line up the products. Take them through the regimen, show them the hand cream, the foot cream, and usually by the time I'm done with the products, they're already really excited. So that's a no-brainer.
Okay, so I like that because it's interesting, Phoebe. That was the same thing I did with you in the very beginning. I didn't know anything about products. And this is kind of crazy because everyone listening, I had a box. I put the box, so it was like a box full of products. This is what I had, and I just basically opened it. In fact, because I was broke, it wasn't even my products; it was my sponsor's products, Tim Her. And all I did, we've got all sorts of different stuff in here. These are just my products, but I opened up the box and it was the special agent package, and all I did is showed Phoebe all the different products. I said, I don't know, and we just started sampling products. Isn't that right?
That's exactly how you did it. You just show me products. You put the magnetic M4 on my wrist. I did the whole. You did the whole removal thing. You did the upper, and I was wowed by the products. And actually, that's what I did with Dr. Ho. I met up with him. She gave him a box of Recover. He used it. So I think that the good thing about it is the product kind of sells itself.
Uh, exactly. Yeah, here's the thing. I think a lot of people, they get tripped up and, well, I've never been in this kind of business, or I wouldn't really even know what to do. And maybe they're on the webinar right now because they're humoring a friend of theirs, and they don't really see the magnitude of this business or the simplicity of this business. But what you're telling me is, if you basically sit down with me and you're going to show me the products, and after you show me several of the products, and preferably the wow factor products like the peeling gel, the thermal mask, the M4, right? And the nail buffer like I talked about. You show these kind of products and you talk about the benefit of the Dead Sea. Is that pretty much how you start this thing?
That's pretty much. In fact, I get invited all the time to talk about secret products, and they're kind of surprised that I don't really talk too much about the secret products, about the ingredients and the positiveness of the gluten or no gluten, or what kind of peptide. To me, I just like to show the product to use on people's faces. And it's the same reaction every time. Once they experience it, they feel how soft their skin is, how radiant it is, how the wrinkles kind of disappear, how their face get lifted. You you know, the wow factor just kicks in, and that's most of the presentation right there, I can tell you.
Okay, so now you're saying the products. I'm like, okay, clearly they work. How do you transition then into the opportunity? And because it's a big debate, you know, a lot of people they won't talk about the opportunity because they're concerned, you know, that they just want to help people get the products, or they're concerned what people are going to think about them, that they're in, you know, a home-based business or network marketing or whatnot. But how do you transition into that? You know, especially someone like yourself who is a professional, who is well respected, and who has people who, you know, are clients really of yours, or people who come to see you specifically for skincare. How do you make that transition into opportunity? And not only how do you make that transition, what do you say?
Well, I usually ask two questions. I go, do you love the products? And they usually say, yeah, I really love the products. Then I say, can you see your friends loving the products, other people loving the products that you know? And they usually say, yes, I can see my friends loving the products. And I say, perfect. You know, there's a way where you can actually earn income from our company. And then I go into the compensation plan. And so I just ask them if they love the products. They say yes, and I say, do your friends love you? You know people that may love the product, and they say yes. Then I say, perfect. And then let me show you how you can earn extra income from this as well by sharing secret. And no one really, I've never had anyone raise their hand and go, stop! I can't believe you're telling me how to make money with this, or stop! I'm not here for a pitch. I've never had anyone doing hundreds and hundreds of wild party got mad at me because I was sharing with them how they can benefit by earning income from sharing secrets.
That's a relief, and I like that. I like that transition. So you love the products, yes. Can you see your friends liking the products? What a great transition into talking about the opportunity. And then, of course, when you have the brochure, the 5 and 5 brochure, it has the comp plan on there. You can just walk right through it right there. Do you use the video ever? Or do you just kind of draw it out, or do you just kind of point it out on the brochure?
I I sometimes use the video, but you know sometimes I may not have the iPad with me or it runs out of battery. For the majority, I just use the brochure and I just point out very simplistic way 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 how they get paid. I don't go too detailed, and people just need to have a general impression of it and a general idea of it. You don't have to get like super complicated, and that's all they need really. And one thing is I do summarize by, you know, if you I do have the application with me or the secret agent application, so you want to make sure you have that in the preferred customer form. So at the end, I just say if you want to become a secret agent, I just point to the application form and summarize it. It's this amount, and you have to choose a package and you know choose your monthly replenishment. Or if you want to become preferred customer, and just point to the where the bullets on the preferred customer form. So just two forms. That's pretty much they choose what they need.
Now that's important. Having the forms. I like that you brought that up. It's interesting. I remember when, you know, our packages in the beginning were 2,000 US dollars were our packages, and I remember, you know, you know how I was doing financially, you know, and FieBi was, you know, FieBi was my friend. You know, we've been friends before. He knew kind of my situation. I was on food stamps in America, which is kind of government assistance for food, and I was getting evicted out of my place. I didn't have much, and I was just on fire about this. FieBi, remember you bought 2 packages that day?
Yeah, I thought, well, my logic was that one package I could use it on clients to test out, and then one package for myself to try. So as a business owner, I thought $4,000 investment for a business that's supposedly gonna earn me 100,000 a month, which is on my way there. I thought that's a very little investment, you know, considering my med spa cost me 300,000 to build out. 4,000 was still very little. I know a lot of you guys are thinking that even $500 is a lot of money. Well, when you're building a traditional business, 300,000 compared to 4,000, it was night and day. So I definitely jumped on it.
That's true. I think when you put that in perspective, people really get it. They understand, like, okay, this is a business. Let's get it going. Let's make it happen. And you certainly did that. Now, let me go back to what happens. Okay, so now it's the moment of truth. You've got the applications out. You've shown me the product. You've talked about the compensation plan. Kind of help me see how I can do this business. Then. How do you help me walk through the application? How do you ask me for the business? I mean, again, I think you alluded to it a little bit about really the investment in starting a business, but where should I get started if I ask you? Which package should I get?
Yeah, usually towards the end of the presentation, showing the compensation plan, and I'm looking at the person across from me. I'm looking at their face and their reaction. And if you pull out the forms kind of does the job for you, because I simply ask them, so what are you thinking? Are you thinking you would like to become more an agent or a customer? You know, sometimes I'll ask that way, or I was like, or I'll just ask, hey, so how would you like to become an agent? If they say yes, then I say perfect, and then I just summarize. Then I go, it's $49 to start to become an agent. I know in Australia it's a different pricing, so I'm using American dollars to kind of explain it. And then I go, it's 1450 or whatever the highest package, and I say, can you? And I don't flinch. I'll show you guys how I handle objection. Is if I go, I'll just point to the biggest package. I go, it's 49. Can you do this? And if they say no, I act like surprised. I act like no, like I'm surprised they can't. You know, just like, and then they're like, oh, okay. And I go, how about the 550? And then they usually like, okay. So the reason I do that is not to be manipulative, because I see it as a business. I want them to have that posture that this is a business. This is not like a hobby thing. So to invest 1450 or 550, it's normal. It's, and you don't have to be afraid that you're gonna hurt them or you're gonna make them fail, or it's like the last dollar to their savings. Because I know Joshua was on his last dollar when he joined the business, and I wasn't doing all that great, even though I had a successful business, but we incurred a lot of debt. We're negative. And so the best thing you could do for someone is to set them up with the best possible package and then give them the best opportunity to succeed. So I'll just kind of work my way down. I'll go, can you do 550? If he said no, then I say, sometimes I'll ask, why not? Just to get deeper, to understand what's their reason. Maybe they need permission from their husbands, or maybe they don't have enough money right now. So I don't pressure them. I just simply give them a choice. If they can't do 550, I go, can you do 150? If they say, okay, I said, perfect. We'll start with 150, and can you upgrade later if I can help you make more income? And they say yes, And so that's usually how I do it. Now, for preferred customers, they go, I don't want to be an agent. And I say, well, would you like to become preferred customer? They all often say yes. In that time, I simply just take out the preferred customer form, and I just say, well, how about let's design a regimen for your skin, something that you can use as a daily basis. And if they say yes, then I start designing the package for them over the course of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. But now we have everything fixed in these perfect regimen formats, so it's even easier.
Well, that's fantastic, FieBi. I'm excited about that. Now, last question before we wrap up the opportunity segment of this program is, what do you have to say to the people who are getting started? Like, what would be their call to action? Really, I'd say the moment is used for them. How should I get started? Should I get in right now? What's my benefit? Where do you think? Where do you think this can take me? Obviously, it's happened for you, and again, you and I are just faces on the internet with somebody. But really, what was the benefit? We talked a little bit about the beginning about how now you're obviously achieving a lot more success. You have more time, you have more freedom. But if I'm new, how do I do that? How do I get there? At least the vision of it, and when should I get started?
Well, when a person is new, the only thing I could say is Secret has a lot of infrastructure that's put in place, has a lot of systems that's put in place. So I would definitely, follow the blueprint, make list of people that you want to contact, and have an urgency. You kind of want to, like, if you're new, it's easier to go faster, because if you let day one, day two, day three, a week, and then 2 week goes by, it's going to get harder for you to kind of pick up that phone and start calling people. The moment you join, the first thing I would do is just be very excited. You don't have to be weird or anything. Just think, if you really think about it, if you're really excited about a movie, or if you have a party, you would just invite people. Like, invitation shouldn't be hard. You go, hey, listen, I'm having this party at my house. Can you come over? We're having barbecue and have a lot of friends come over. Or, hey, I just watched this awesome movie. I'm gonna go watch again. Can you go with me? So if you're excited about something, you'll be like, hey, guess what? I just recently, joined the company, and there are these awesome products. When can you come to check it out? I just want you to try them. Just like that. So don't overcomplicate the invitation, like it's hard. And also, I can say, be prepared for rejection. Like, people say no, no. uh, you know what, there are people that are going to say no, but there's going to be a lot of people that said yes. Yeah, and just kind of stick with that, and then follow the system. Keep it simple. Invitation, make your list, the blueprint, and do wild parties or one-on-one. And that's pretty much it, I would say. Do it fast, do it quick, and do it with passion. You'll be good.
And that's fantastic, Phoebe. Thank you so much for your insight and all that you've just mentioned over the last half hour. I really appreciate it. So look, guys, bottom line is, if you are looking at this for the first time, make a decision to get started. Get with the person who invited you on this webinar. They have a website. Walk through it, or if they're sitting right next to you, just fill out the application. Make a decision to get started now. And we're gonna work as a team. We're gonna work and help you. There's a lot of systems in place. There's a lot of videos, a lot of online help, a lot of in-person help. There's some great events taking place all over Australia. Great management team. Really, truly one of the best. You got some great partners there, and it's just getting started. You're really at the very beginning of this opportunity. And of course, no matter what company it is, as well as I do, when you're in the very beginning of something, you have a massive advantage to position yourself to ride the wave, to really grow with the company, and so that way your family and you and the people that you love and care about, or the people that follow you or respect you enough to take a look at Secret, will also win, and can win very big. So again, congratulations to those of you that made a decision right now to get started. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to just take a few moments to get some questions from the audience. And what I'd like you to do is, if you haven't liked us already on Facebook, please do that. Like us, because I'm shifting all of my information over onto the Facebook site. So a lot of my communication, the posts and everything's going to go on this Facebook page. Some of you are connected to me on my personal site. I'm maxed out over on that site, so we've opened up a fan page, and that's going to have unlimited amounts of people we can communicate to. And I want you to be on there. I want to be able to communicate with you. So like the page, and then at the bottom of the screen, you see a little box for questions and answers. What you want to do there is type in your name, because I can't see who it is. I want to be able to say your name, give you your name for credit. Now, you don't have to if you don't want to. You can remain anonymous if you'd like. But I would appreciate it if you put your name in there, and then ask your question after that. I'm going to ask the question to Dr. Liu on your behalf, and he'll be able to answer them live. So this is the interaction part of the webinar, where you can participate, you can answer your questions, find out for yourself maybe some of the things you're thinking about right now to help you make a decision, either A, to get started in the business for the first time, or B, to take your business from where it is to where you want it to be. Give you that extra step. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh the questions and answers. I've got one right now from an individual that asked you, Dr. Liu, Phoebe, did Secret help your primary business grow? Secret help your medical practice, I guess, or your med spa?
Yeah, skincare is always an integral component for any type of med spa practice. I would say it definitely did. We use Secret products, and I've actually designed certain type of facials that use Secret products, like and for magnetic facial I use the Dead Sea mud for a lot of our acne clients. Pretty much for the standard cleanser that we use now is for a lot of people is the mud soap for a lot of people with oily skin. And so yeah, I would say we have an esthetician department. We see about I would say a good about 200 esthetician appointments throughout the month, and 80% of that is using secret products and secret facials. They definitely help my practice for sure. Good question.
Thanks, Phoebe. I also have well, I've got a couple of cool statements. Love your passion and commitment to us. Thank you for your time. We got a hi from Julie and Richard. Hi, Julie. Hi, Richard. South Australia. They're happy to be sharing this time with us. We're happy to be sharing the time with you as well. And Julie Val says, love that you guys are keeping it real. Well, we appreciate you, Julie. Thank you for that. Um, Phoebe, this question is, how do you keep your business going at the same time build your secret business?
It kind of fluctuates because there was a time where I was really focused on my secret business, and my traditional business did kind of falter a little bit, and then I would go back to building my traditional business while I still have my secret business. So it was kind of a teeter-totter. You kind of have to juggle back and forth, and only you as a business owner, you have to know the right balance for you. You know, oftentimes when I take days off, even Doctor, I give you a good example, not just for myself, even my partner, Dr. Ho. There are times when he actually calls me up and goes, "Hey, Phoebe, should I take 2, 3 days off to go to this event?" Or I know the recently Dr. Ho won an incentive, and he wanted to go, but he couldn't because it would cost him $50,000 for missed work. And Josh knows that I missed almost every incentive that I won, like vacation and trips with Secret, until recently I went on the first one on Diamond trips. And so sometimes you just have, when it's time to focus on your business, you have to focus on your business, and then you have to kind of juggle it. You have to kind of sense it. It's very dynamic.
No, and that is true. It's funny that he says that Phoebe, he won every contest. The company has contests, trips, incentives, and for the first couple of years didn't go on any of them. Although he won all of them, didn't go, and then the Diamond trip was the first trip. So that was pretty cool.
That was awesome.
Next week, I know you agreed to do this next week as well, and I know this is short notice, ladies and gentlemen. That obviously your next week's going to be a much better event. We're going to go through a lot more information. This is the last minute, but one of the things we want to talk about next week with you, Phoebe, is for 3 years in a row, you were the #1 person for Black Friday. I mean, you sold more than any worldwide global agent anywhere. In fact, I think you surpassed the #2 place by double. Like I know one year you did everything everyone else did almost together combined. I know the competition's getting really stiff this year, but I'd love for you next week, not now, but next week to talk a little bit about that. So would you be willing to prepare something and share with everyone how they can really take advantage of an incredible holiday season for them and for their family using our Black Friday situation that we got here, Secret?
You come back next week, and I'll show you my secret formula, how I was able to be #1 in Black Friday sales 3 years in a row. So I'll definitely tell you.
Excellent. And then real quickly about Revolution, what's the big deal with going to the conventions? Why are conventions important? You mentioned something about how Dr. Ho had to spend I know he spent I think $15,000 to go to the breakout convention, and that's not the expenses of getting there and the tickets. That's just what he had to spend leaving his clinic for a few days. I know a lot of people talk about why are these conventions important. So could you maybe answer that question for us?
I love to go to convention because it's just fun. It's a great time to be with people. To kind of, if you think we're like a big family reunion of secret family from worldwide, and that's one. Two, you learn so much. I mean, I learn from all the other leaders that's on stage. I'm taking notes, and I love the associations. I love the fact that so many people is there, it kind of enlarges your vision too. You know, you get overwhelmed and you just see all the passions and all the dreams and all the excitement that's there. And I would say there's nothing like convention. And in fact, of all the events that Secret have, conventions are my favorite events because they're the funnest, you learn the most, and you get to share such an experience with your team. It's a unique time unlike any other. I mean, your whole team goes with you. You guys are together. You're enjoying the environment, and not only with your team, but the Secret family as a whole, as a community, and we celebrate each other's success. I mean, you can't understand. I get so excited when I see everybody on stage, like the rubies and the diamonds and the platinums and bronze and superstars. Like, yeah, you know, I'm always in the front taking all those photos. It really is the best. And I know I had the best time at the Australian convention just recently. I mean, that was just right, Josh.
Ah, yeah, that was amazing. In fact, you know, that question is interesting. That question I came from Patrick Chen. Patrick, we love you, buddy. We appreciate you. But yeah, that's a great question. And yeah, we had fun in Australia. You're gonna have fun in America. This is the international convention. The revolution is people from all over the world are coming together. Yes, you have a national convention in Australia or wherever it is that you live right now, and of course we have a national one in America. But we're going to have an international global convention at Revolution. Important to be there. And Patrick, we're excited to see you too, buddy.
Yeah, I can't wait to see everybody there.
All right, we've got another question that says, what products are good for eczema on the face, and are teenagers allowed to use the product as well?
Okay, that's a good question. For eczema, you could use mud soap, but the key thing is to moisturize the face. And I would say use the Blue Line Intensive Moisture Cream. That you could even mix a little bit of the body butter with the intensive moisture cream if you wanted to, for the eczema on the face. If it's more of a younger child, like a baby, then use only the intensive moisture. It's a front in our Blue Line product. That's what I recommend. It works really well.
Thank you so much. Another question from Greer. Hey, Greer, we appreciate you. When you've approached someone that's business-minded or has previous network marketing experience about Secret, and they seem positive about it and interested, but they're still reluctant and holding back, what's your next approach with them? So you don't be so pushy and turn them off. What would you do in that situation?
Okay, that's a very good question. I always have three-way prepared before I go into any presentation. So oftentimes we need that third-party validation. So if I know I'm going to show someone Secret in advance of an appointment, I've already made an appointment either with Josh or with my other team members. I always tell them, hey, at this time, if I need you for a three-way, can you be there? So if you haven't done it already, make sure you add an element where you get someone on a three-way call. And if the purpose of a three-way call is just to introduce them so they hear from another person other than you about why Secret Business is so awesome. And if you show them the product and they're excited, very simple, just invite them to another event. Invite them to another WOW party. If it's a one-on-one, invite them to a WOW party that you're doing. Or if you show them a WOW party, invite them to a local event that you have, if you have it in your area. Or invite them to a webinar that we're doing now regularly. The idea is just go take them from one exposure to another exposure to another exposure. So just keep thinking about how else can I share Secret, maybe in a different way, and then listen to them. Ask them questions like, so what other information would be helpful for you to know about Secret? Or ask this question, hey, when do you have time? I want to introduce somebody for you so you can meet them. So I use the word introduce for three-way because it's very friendly versus, because sometimes if I ask them, do you have any questions? If they say no, then that kind of ends the three-way. But if I say, hey, can I introduce my friend Joshua Denne? He's very successful. People always want to meet successful people. So yeah, that's usually how I would do it.
Great question, Greer. Thank you, my friend. And let's see, here's the next question here. FieBi Liu, how do you sell the business opportunity in your clinics? This one's from Joey. I think you answered this a little earlier, but maybe you could just give a real fresher here.
Well, first of all, if you're a business owner, you can't really tell everybody to join the business. Otherwise, I would scare uh, all my clients away. I think there was even a time somebody actually went on Yelp. Oh my God, don't go to Skin Perfect Brother. There's this guy FieBi. He's gonna try to get you into secret. Now I was like, okay, maybe I'm overdoing it and telling too many people. So you kind of have to be selective. You have to, if you're a business owner, I look at people that I have really good relationship with that are my clients that I have that rapport that they see me as a friend almost. And then so sometimes selectively I'll invite those people to a product demonstration. I don't necessarily sell them the business yet. I always introduce them to the product. Um, it's funny that you say that because I just invited a airline stewardess that was complaining that they work too hard and they're stressed out and they're not making enough income. So I invited them to a product demonstration and said, hey, if you love the product, maybe this could be a potential side revenue. So I always say is don't blanket everyone. Use a little wisdom. Keep your ears open. Ask good questions. See if you can find a need that they have, and then invite them to a product demonstration, which is a wild party.
Brilliant. Hey, thanks again, Joey, for that great question. We've got a few more here. I know we're coming up on the hour, so that's we're going to be wrapping this up quick. Let's see. I know Jessica was asking, do you still have your practice, and do you work your business with Secret more or your practice? I know you answered this also earlier, but Jessica, that is a good question. And maybe just real quickly, FieBi, yeah, I know you still have your practice, but which one do you work more right now?
Before I was working six days practice, 1 day secret. Now I'm working 1 day practice, rest of the time secret. So definitely less on my practice now, thanks to because my secret income now can definitely sustain me and prosper me towards the future. So definitely I focus on secret.
That's phenomenal. Thank you for that, Jessica. And Caitlin says, FieBi, you're an inspiration. Thank you, Caitlin. Also, Patrick sends his love. We love you, Patrick. Really, brother. Can't wait to see you again. Appreciate you. Let's see. Another question is, what product's good for teen acne, and how fast can you start seeing results?
Yeah, with teen acne, it depends. You know, sometimes when we use acne, I've heard many agents complain that when they use some of our products, the acne becomes worse. The only thing I'm going to tell you is that it's possible to dry out your skin too much, and when you dry out the skin too much, your skin gets inflamed and it actually reacts, and it actually gets more inflamed. And so I would say start with the mud soap. You could use the mud mask 2 times a week, and then if their skin is, you know, you could use the blue line. You could use the blue line serums. Definitely nothing in the green line, and definitely no M4 because they're too oily. And now, if you're finding out that they're still kind of the acne is still kind of going too much, that means you may be drying them out too much, and they're not getting enough moisture. Then at that time, I would move them to the milk cleanser, right? And then instead of getting on the blue line, I would actually use the blue line moisturizer and then reduce the mud mask from 2 times a week to 1 time a week. So do the first regimen, and if they're still reacting, then I will actually move towards something that is actually creating more moisture than less. It's almost counterintuitive, but I learned that from Dr. Hope.
Very good. That's good notes here, guys. Thank you so much. Kelsey's asking, what if the wife is on board and the husband is not? What do you do to enroll them in your business?
Wow, you're asking the single guy if the wife is on board and the husband is not. Well, I would say communication harmony, mutual respect. Um, in the end, it's an individual decision. Josh, I'm gonna let you handle that one because I don't have a good answer to that. I would say listen to the husband. For me, when I'm gonna cite someone and they're like, my husband is against it, I don't have an answer to that. That's like I'm stumped. I'm like, really? Okay. Can you, if he doesn't really want you to do it, then I don't think you can do it. I don't really have an answer unless you do.
No, look, here's the thing. If someone's spouse is not interested, if you're going to enroll them, just know that it's going to be difficult to keep them in the business, because if their spouse is anti, then it's going to be, their spouse is the most powerful person in their life, more than likely, right? The most influential person. So my suggestion to you is, start talking to the husband. Find out what their reservations are, and exactly what Dr. FieBi said earlier. Help walk them through another exposure process. Help introduce them to other people. Help them get out to an event. Help them to see secret as a way for their wife, or the roles could be either one. It could be maybe that the husband's on board but the wife isn't. But whichever spouse isn't on board, you want to get them to engage. How do you do it? Either one of two ways. Either A, legitimately get them to engage in the business because they see it also, or B, have them engage only because it's going to be supportive of their spouse. Legitimately, like they go, okay, I see this is good for my husband, or I see this is good for my wife. All right, good. I'll support in any way I can. I see what you're doing. I'm busy doing XYZ company or XYZ career. I got my kids. I got these other things going on, but I'm going to be fully supportive. You got to get them to walk through a very similar information path than the other spouse who's actually excited. So that's my that's how I'd answer that.
Good one.
Mina, hey Mina. Mina's on the webinar. Glad you're here. Okay, rock and roll. Thanks, gentlemen. That was great. Few really got great points taken down tonight. Greer, we love you, Greer. We appreciate that kind comment. Thank you. Julie here. My friend has a form of lupus, which is an autoimmune disease. It gives her dry and painful cracked hands and feet, and also arthritis. I'll ask the same question to Dr. Ho on the U.S. webinar, but wonder if you know if any secret products would be good for her. Thank you, FieBi. Thanks, Julie.
I would say just the body butter, just a lot of hyper moisture. You could even take, it's a similar way you can use to treat eczema. You use a lot of body butter, maybe twice a day. You could wrap it in like a saran wrap for hyper moisture for maybe like 10-15 minutes. And I think they'll see a lot of improvement with that, for sure. Just body butter, something very simple. Just keep hydrated.
Thank you, FieBi. Julie says one last comment. FieBi, I hope your brother is doing well.
Thank you. He is actually. I appreciate you guys. Love you, secret community, for praying for him. He's doing good. Thank you.
Well, that was all the questions we have today. Actually, one more from Patrick. Not going to leave you out, brother. For demonstration and best treatment for acne with secret products, go to YouTube and type in the title with Agent Karen Nelson and their video post. That's KarinNelson. Agent Karen Nelson. And I guess that'll be that's something good there. All right, guys. Here's the thing. We've got Dr. Christopher Ho coming up in I think how many hours now? We've got 12 plus 4, 15 and a half hours from this moment. We've got Dr. Christopher Ho, obviously a gentleman that FieBi Liu recruited into the business. Phenomenal individual, graduated from Stanford with his bachelor's and master's medical degree from USC, which is phenomenal. USC, one of the most prestigious schools in the world. Then UCLA, he got his dermatology degree and another degree from Harvard for lasers. Very well educated, successful entrepreneur. He's going to be doing our secret presentation. Actually, just hit the Ruby rank and $100,000 also part-time with his secret business. That's going to be next week. Make sure you like us on Facebook. And also, my wife, Cindy, is going to be doing a Spanish webinar just an hour before that, 14 and a half hours from now. That's 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you look that up, PST, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Anyone you know speaking Spanish anywhere in the world, get them on that webinar. She's going to do a great job answering questions, getting those people started. And then at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Dr. Christopher Ho. And then, of course, next week, we have Dr. FieBi Liu back again, and he's going to be giving us some dynamite content. Obviously, a good opportunity interview in the beginning, and then some dynamite training information on how you can truly position yourself to make massive profits with this year's Black Friday coming up. So with that, guys, massive respect, massive love to every one of you. FieBi, any final words?
Yeah, I just want to say, can't wait to go back to Australia and hang out with you, all the Aussies over there. My last trip was just phenomenal. So, right, Josh?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
We're definitely big Australia fans, big Aussie fans, and we look forward to working with each and every one of you. God bless you guys. Have a great night. Thank you, FieBi, for your time, buddy.